Hello, Herd, and welcome to another
Don't you
episode
dare cut out my intro.
of the Herd Main Show. I'm your Herd leader, John Wayne.
I'm here, man. I'm just here.
And which intro did you get? This is Clue. Tim Curry is with us in spirit. Which introduction did you get?
Okay.
You got to listen across all of our platforms to make sure you got the right one. Um,
Or there's a special one where you get all three at the same time.
right. Ooh.
That was such a good
That's
idea.
the one if you watch Hulu. But um, yeah, I don't know. You should know who I am, but in case I didn't say it and I've just gotten off track, I'm John.
I'm Meg.
Yeah, and we're talking about Star Wars. That's something we do around here, particularly on our main show. I introduce it all the time because I never know. We're gaining followers every which way and just making sure if you walk in here, you know what you're getting into. And so we talk about
Yeah.
all kinds of things, but the main thing we do around here, hence the main show, is talk about Star Wars. And we were actually talking about this before the episode began, just in like casual conversation, not podcast conversation, about like, what makes a podcast and what ultimately gets people listening isn't what you talk about because there's so many other people that already talk about it and most of them probably talk about it better, but it's who's talking about it. And we were talking about how like it's what you do with it, your personal brand and flair and everything. And we were
Yeah.
like, our thing is like loving aggressively.
Yeah, legit. Like, you come into our home, we're gonna feed you, we're gonna love you, but we're gonna be really aggressive about
We
it.
can't say it's going to be healthy. It might be dill pickle chips, but which are neither
Dude,
chip or dill pickle. It's a weird thing.
those flaming hot dill pickle chips,
But
though.
yeah, and we're taking time in this season to do just that and to spend a lot of time reminiscing about the fact that we love Star Wars and what particular things we love about it and just chit chat about that because too often people love to talk about what they hate. And too many times do people feel the need to hate on something because someone says they like something.
It was a very
Um,
pointed look.
I'm just saying, Twitter's been a
Twitter's been
hellscape this week.
special.
And yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just like liking things, like me liking a particular movie or liking something does not take away from the thing you like. If you want to
No.
talk about what you like and all that, we can have that conversation. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like if people are just talking about what they like, just jump in if you agree. If you don't agree, then you know wait until the next episode or
Yeah.
listen to a different one that likes what you like. I don't know. Like I don't want to get into the ins and outs of it. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but um, it's very common for us to think that liking something is hating something else. Like you're known for liking the original trilogy because you hate the sequel trilogy. You're known for liking the prequels because you hate the sequels. Like
Yeah.
whatever. And I'm not typecasting any one person. It's just examples within the Star Wars verse where it's just like you use the hate of something to justify or fuel your love of something, and it's really weird and
Yeah.
twisted and definitely not how it's supposed to work.
No, it's not.
And so taking time to just do the abnormal, apparently, to do the controversial and just love stuff and talk about that, just that's the whole deal,
Hmm.
is something that we wanted to do.
Yeah, like
So
I had a conversation with someone recently where I was telling them that surprise, you've started watching Steven Universe, and I am loving how into it you're
me
getting.
too.
But the person that I was talking to, they were like, "Oh, why not Adventure Time?"
Hmm.
Because we're watching Steven Universe, Debbie. Like the
Right.
Steven Universe is a fantastic show. Adventure Time is a fantastic show. Love it dearly. But we're not talking about that right now.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, it's just like people take it as a challenge. What do
Exactly.
you mean your favorite Star Wars? Why don't you like this one that I like and that most fans agree is the best one? Like because I like this one, Like it's weird to have to justify your love. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, we just wanted to make a space and have time because we obviously enjoy talking to each other. To just come back to things we love and why we love them and everything. And so we've been journeying through the Star Wars films.
Yes, we have.
Intermittently we've been stopping along the way to say, hey, we do love what we got, but what if it was different in the story sense, not in the what if so and so did, what if someone else directed the prequels, and not in that, more so in character choices and everything. And we did that recently with the original trilogy. You can check that out. That was our last main show episode. And so now that we've kind of been like, well, what if things were different? This is taking time to reminisce and enjoy what we do, enjoy what we got. That is turning uh 40 something years old now.
40 something, whatever.
It's old
Past
and
40, you're
it's
just
incredible.
decrepit. No.
And so we're not talking about the whole original trilogy. We could not. I mean, we could, but you wouldn't listen because that would be too long. People yell at us when that happens, apparently. But we are talking about A New Hope.
Yes,
And
we
so
are.
the one that began it all, and it's really weird in doing it chronologically to kind of do that, because it's just like you would think you'd start with this one. You would start with the one that started everything. Um, but we're chronological people in this house. we go in. There's numbers on the box sets for reasons.
It's
people.
not just because the Phantom Menace is our
Right.
favorite.
It's not just because Roman numerals are cool. There's an order to the universe, guys.
I can't read Roman numerals.
I just wing it. That's why I've stayed on episode 1 forever.
That looks like a 7.
No. So yeah. So what are your initial thoughts? What are your initial just like reasons you enjoy this movie? What gives you the inkling to put this on Disney Plus or Blu-ray or DVD or VHS or that illegal despecialized edition that you should not watch technically because it is technically still illegal?
Yes, it is.
I have to have that caveat.
Yes. What was the question? No.
Sorry,
I
my PSA kind of threw off the groove there.
Your psa. Yeah, I think that I love A New Hope. As I've gotten older, I've certainly started appreciating it more.
Mm-hmm.
But for the longest time, it was a nostalgia thing. Because that was a movie that me and Dad would watch all the time. Like, that was something that we would just throw on a Sunday afternoon. He would pass out in his chair, in his full
watching
suit. And yeah, like, that was just a Sunday afternoon activity, was watching Star Wars. We would fast forward past the interview because we had the VHS.
So, you had like the special ones that came with that prior, the 1997 ones, I believe.
Yes, that was it. And I remember.
Watch those interviews. I think we talked about this a while ago.
I
know. I'm saying for the people, like, if you can if you don't know what we're talking about, first of all, just look up Star Wars Special Edition interviews or something like that.
And if you don't know what a VHS tape is,
we can't help you. But no, really great interviews because it's right before the prequels are started. Well, right before the Phantom Menace comes out, and it's just a lot of reminiscing. Yeah. It's a lot of just George Lucas talking. Neat. George Lucas. He talks about Star Wars very uniquely. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he created it, so it's like he's got the most unique view of it because it's both like, and not to like interrupt. I'm sorry.
You're good.
But like Dave Filoni talks about it like a kid that loves the story.
Mm-hmm.
George Lucas talks about it like, he likes the meaning of the story, but he also likes filmmaking and, and he's also got an agenda, which always been political, guys. So it's like, it's interesting and weird hearing him talk about Star Wars because he doesn't come at it from our perspective because he made it. He gets that privilege, so.
Yeah, we think of him as this, like, elder being who is the keeper of knowledge, but in reality, he's just Dionysus, just chilling on a couch.
Yeah,
reaping his benefits.
Right.
Which isn't a bad thing. I love Dionysus Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, we put him on such a pedestal.
I mean, everybody does. They make one thing you like, and everybody thinks that they get I mean, I love Rian Johnson, and I do think that he had a very unique window into Star Wars, but I don't think that he's more fit than any other creative mind to make a movie. Like, I'm excited Taika Waititi's doing it. I love the fact that Gareth Edwards did one. I like it. I appreciate, that the same way that the recent Disney story has despecialized the Force and said that no, everybody can be special in their own way. Anybody can be a Jedi.
Do a Star Wars.
The way they're making these movies, the way they're making these shows is that too. In the real world, you can be inspired by Luke Skywalker and do real things instead of just, imaginary things like swinging a stick in the middle of the forest, you know?
That was the point.
And, right, yeah, exactly.
Like,
Like, you're supposed to learn and live from these stories, not just, start
listen,
internet wars about them.
we're gonna talk about The Last Jedi soon.
Right,
We're gonna
yeah.
do it soon.
Um,
What was I saying? Oh, yes, yes,
so,
yes,
yeah,
yes, yes.
nostalgic movie.
We would sit back and we would watch the movie together. And I used to be a very passive viewer of Star Wars,
Okay,
as we've talked
I was
about
gonna
at the
say you
start.
still are with a lot of things.
No,
But
I'm
that's the way
incredibly
you
passive.
digest things.
Yeah.
You indirectly digest information. You're that person that like will be doing something else, hear something, and then like a week later buy someone something, and it's like that one time you said, and it's like you were paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
ADD
Yes.
or ADHD, whatever you choose to label it as. Technically,
Can't sit still disease.
the difference between the two is almost
Yeah.
non-existent anymore.
I mean, ADD doesn't exist anymore
Yeah,
as
it's
a
ADHD.
diagnostic,
So.
which is a misnomer.
Yeah, well, there
We'll do a
we
mental
want
health
we want our
podcast.
terms to represent anything. Like oh, depression, that just means,
Mhm.
sad, and it's like no.
It's a chronically overwhelmed disorder.
Yeah, like
It's a I can't do math disorder. It's a I can't sleep
it's a lot of
disorder.
things. There's no one answer
Yeah.
for things.
It's a my friends hate me disorder. No, yeah.
So indirect Star Wars.
I was a very casual child with media and such.
Mhm.
I mean, like we would just go to Blockbuster and pick out whatever. But Star Wars was one of those movies that the rare movie that we owned, where we just pop it in the VCR and just chill, watch
Mhm.
Star Wars. It wasn't, I've said this before, it wasn't until I met you and fully immersed myself into whatever the heck you would call what we're doing. And like, I started paying attention
Mhm.
more. I started noticing little character things about Luke
Mhm.
and being like, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. 'Cause that and then there. Oh, yep, I got you.
Right.
And so, like, I still have that nostalgia. Like, there are times where I just get the hankering to sit down and watch A New Hope and call my dad.
Mhm.
Like, and then he falls asleep on the phone.
It's a problem.
It's happened. But yeah, I think of it as not just a nostalgia movie, but also just a good movie in general. It's a fun watch.
Yeah, well, and I like that it's not related to anything. Like it's personal.
Yeah.
And I always encourage people in general to find personal reasons to like things, not quantifiable things.
Mm-hmm.
Not well. Of course, I love watching it. It's the Star Wars. Like it's the one that like, yeah. That I don't think. I mean, I'm gonna offend somebody by saying it, but like I don't think those are really tangible things. I think you can appreciate those things.
Yes.
But I think, digging deeper in why. Not because it's the first, not because it's original, not because it began everything, but why do you? It's like that moment with Ray. Uh, Shut up. I have verbal dyslexia. Leave me alone.
It's that movement with Ray.
Where Luke's like, yeah, but why are you here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, not the agenda, not the other stuff, not that anything else that someone else can tell me. Yes, it began Star Wars, but why do you watch it? I think those are more significant moments. Why do you watch any of these movies? Is an important question for yourself because you grew up with the originals and now you feel like you have to digest everything. Like that's not real reasons. That no wonder you don't seem to like anything recently. Like, I just think it helps us as people.
Yeah.
It's not about being better fans, although that's a benefit. But I think it's just in general getting to know yourself because
Yeah.
I'm a big advocate for knowing thyself. I think that there's power in that, and these hobbies and these things we enjoy are little caveats into that window of the soul. And so understanding why we like those little things is a big deal.
Yeah, and there's a huge difference between watching something because you love it and watching something out of obligation. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
I cannot tell you how many movies I've watched out of obligation.
Right. Well, and I do get I've lightened up in general, but I still believe in giving all the Star Wars a chance.
Yeah.
Now I don't overwhelm people. So I mean, in the sense of like, if someone wants to watch Star Wars and has never seen anything or seen little bits and pieces, I am very much that one where it's just like, I will try and show you one that I think will make you interested, but I really encourage people to give all of them a chance. all of them are unique and different, and
Mhm.
although there's an overarching story throughout all of the saga, each one has its own thing. But the beauty of this one being the beginning of everything is like this is I think some of the most like this the nostalgia you get for personal experience with this. I get
Mhm.
nostalgia for this has everything that made me fall in love with Star Wars, and so it's the themes of things and what it represents, and so it's like this really is a really really perfect start to things. I know we said we're chronological around here, but
Whatever.
you know it's one of those things where this is just a really great place to start with Star Wars. Go
Yeah.
figure, um, because it just takes the essence of everything that retroactively we've come to enjoy.
Mhm.
The political commentary of the prequels, the idea of hubris of the Jedi. You've got the idea of emotions. Are they all bad or are some good? And the power of choice, and also the power of listening to your elders, but also making your own path.
Yeah.
Like all these things end up in this random movie that nobody really believed in at first, and it. I think that's what gets people in. I think that's what captures people so much is just
Absolutely.
those times when you just feel something like tugging at you, and throughout A New Hope, there's a lot of that, and there's a lot of moments that, because of A New Hope, make me, my heart tingle in other films and places and everything.
Yeah.
So it's just like it all comes
Dude.
back to here. It's weird and crazy and
Mhm.
everything. So
You could play the first three notes of Leia's theme, and
yeah,
I will start crying
right.
immediately. Like I love this movie so much for the
So,
music.
okay, well, we'll jump
Love
off from
the
there. Yeah,
story.
like actually talking about filmy things, music. Yeah, like
Stunning.
you
John Williams
mentioned.
just.
Yeah, well, and that's what's so crazy is, I mean, we talk about what if, like what if John Williams had not been the song of Star Wars? Like, what if he
Yeah.
hadn't done what he did? A lot
Dude,
of things would have been different.
I
I don't know.
I am such a fan of schlocky sci-fi. I
Mm-hmm.
think we've established that a few times on the show.
Yeah.
But I love sci-fi music above, most other film score
Mm-hmm.
and TV score. But there is something that is so incredibly powerful about an orchestral sci-fi soundtrack. It's so much fun.
Yeah, well, it sets the tone,
Yeah.
because there's so many things. So, like, the most significant, and might as well just get it out of the way because it's like my favorite thing about this, and for it connects to many other things. The binary sunset, the
Oh,
Force theme,
yes.
as it became. Um, you take that scene, you can put that on a stage,
Mm-hmm.
and there's so many moments where I realize I'm not trying to get into the majesty that is John Williams' craft. I'm
No,
not claiming to understand. I just
we
mean,
are just not worthy.
right, I'm not a
Like,
brilliant man. But I see stuff like this and I'm just like, I really feel like that's the um, chemical bond that
yes,
explodes and creates this
dude.
emotional connection. Is it's like it's we jokingly call it like space opera and everything,
Mm-hmm.
because
It is.
there's
It is
moments
an
like that
opera.
where I'm like I feel like I'm watching something
Yes.
on stage, Shakespearean. There you go. Like I feel like I'm watching something
Mm-hmm.
that is completely, I don't want to say magical, but like yeah, it feels like it's unreal compared to anything else. It's not
Yeah.
sci-fi. It's not fantasy. It's not even film. Sometimes it's just
It's
I,
just fun.
yeah, it's just all
Yeah.
these pretty pictures and they give me feelies.
Yeah, and specifically Binary Sunsets is such an incredible piece of music just in general. Like it evokes like those feelings of something's coming. This is the calm before the storm and we have hope for the future. I'm going to stare at these suns
I'm gonna
as
go
they go
blind.
down.
Yeah, I'm
Exactly.
gonna get farmer's blind.
Sand blindness.
Yeah. No, yeah. Well, and that's the thing. And I've plugged it before. But
Dude.
there's a YouTuber, The Negotiator, who has a video. I believe the title is, and it's only because I've watched it so much, but I believe the title is um, Maybe the Galaxy Needs a Hero. And
Mhm.
it's taken from lines and dialogue and moments from The Last Jedi
Mhm.
that rewinds itself to this moment. Ever since seeing that video, and I talked to this person and
Yeah.
at one point and was just like gushing about how much I appreciate it. And even still, it's just one of those things where it's like I cannot completely explain the emotions this gives me. Because it's just very much, and it'll maybe make more sense when we talk about The Last Jedi, but it's just one of those things where, yeah, it's like if I could just see me now, like, not me now, but later when I'm
Yeah.
on a rock and dying, but it's okay. But like
I'll buy you a rock, baby.
Yeah, it's just like I can't unsee that connection now. The connection of his final moments with his first moments on this journey, like they're so interconnected, and that's part of the story that I love about the character of Luke Skywalker. Beginning and end for me is where Luke Skywalker is made. Um, I'm not the biggest Luke Skywalker fan, and I've been honest about that, and it's mostly just because I never related until later moments. Um, so retroactively, The Last Jedi has really given a lot of importance and emotion to that scene, and like you said, that kind of expecting hope, that kind of advent that's happening there. Of yes, something has to be better than this, and that's what I love about the setup. Is it's just there's nothing wrong with what's going on. There's nothing wrong with this story as is. It's just that there's something grander, and
Yeah.
that's the thing that we like that I fall in love with as a theme is tapping into that. Like it's fine to be normal, but there's also something grander for everyone. Like there's something bigger than any one of us ever imagines for ourselves.
Yeah.
When however you assume or believe you came into being, there's something special and unique and significant about your story, and you have to be willing to step into that. And we all feel at one point or another like Luke on that hill on the sunset, where it's just like I'm here, but I know I could be there.
Yeah.
And you can fill in the gap. That's the beauty of it. Whether you do want to go running around with a laser sword or flying a hunk of junk
Do
or,
it, man.
fighting injustice in the Senate, like whatever you want to do, whatever your thing is, you were meant for something. And that's the biggest thing of A New Hope, I think, for me, is stepping into that realization and going on that journey of discovering what that is.
Yeah.
So I've talked a lot. Now you.
I'm okay with it. I like it when you talk about Luke Skywalker. It's great.
So
You want to go character by character?
we can do whatever we want. If you go back and check these out, if this is your first one, every one of these is different.
Yeah, every single one.
Can't explain it.
We talked about music. We talked about Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, we get our separate time to prepare, with the only premise being be ready to talk about what you like. And there's some notes, but overall, it's just happening. And I love that chemistry of things. And so we're gonna miss things, and that's where we invite you guys to step in, speak up, and comment and whatever.
Yeah.
Let us know your things, because they're probably things we enjoy too. We just didn't get to talk about.
Give us your jammies. You jammies?
Well, I'll say I'm not. I already said I'm not the biggest Luke Skywalker fan, so I was big into Biggs and Wedge and Han Solo and Chewie, of course. So, but for you, like, was Luke your in when you started caring, or was it always Leia? Because it's definitely Leia now.
What tipped you off?
You're kind of in the gang there. You're in the bun gang, babe.
I'm in the bun gang, man. There is a moment in Star Wars that just evokes, like, when little people, I was gonna say little girls, but children.
Okay, I was gonna say, what is that the term you can use?
No.
I don't know.
Small people.
I can call Warwick, but I don't know.
Miniature people. Fun size.
Illegal people, because they're not legal till they're 18 or something, right? When do these things get rights?
Apparently not. Apparently not. Jeez, what was I? Okay, yeah.
Children.
There is a moment. You know that moment where you're watching like videos of kids go to Disney and they see like their favorite character and they start screaming uncontrollably?
Uh-huh.
When I see the silhouette of Leia putting the Death Star plans into R2, I get that feeling.
I really hope she didn't put any data plans in Luke.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
There was a lot of time on
it would explain why he went monk afterwards.
Yeah. That is one of my favorite screens in all of Star Wars, because it is such an ethereal moment of what's she doing?
Mm-hmm.
What's she got going on? She's at the end of a hallway. She must be doing something secret. And like I don't know what started that. I mean, I showed it on the YouTube video, but I have that moment tattooed on my arm because it evokes such giddy emotions for me. Because this is, in my mind, the beginning of her story. Even though, it started a long time before in a galaxy not so far away.
I think this is where she stepped through the doorway. I think everything that, like, if you're talking like Rebels and books and anything like that, that's getting her to the point where she steps in. Like,
yes.
And it's that to say that has impact and matter to her journey, but clearly episode 4 is the most significant beginning. Same with Luke, same with all of these characters, where it's just like, we're not saying that anything outside of the movies doesn't exist. It's just that these clearly are the big boy moments and big girl moments.
This is the beginning of something.
Yeah.
Like, this is where it gets cool.
Yeah.
And I think it does such a fantastic job of kind of setting her up to exceed your expectations. Because in that moment, she looks like a princess. She looks like just a really beautiful princess,
right?
Like Carrie Fisher.
A really great balance of the two, and again, showing and highlighting that agenda where it's just like this false sense of narrative where clearly the story is a rescue the princess story.
Yeah, that's what it sets itself up to be.
But at the end of the day, she has her part to play. She is important just as much as Luke is to flying down the trench run, just as much as Han is to returning and stealing glory.
Dude, I said it in the last episode. They would have never gotten off the Death Star.
Yeah, if not for R2 and Leia.
Yep.
Never would have happened.
Never would have happened.
Yeah, and so it's very much that binary sunset moment where it's just like this very memorable, this capture, like this thing that just I can constantly and vividly see and feel. Very similar moments. I love Leia, and I love what began here and what continued to drive her character. And obviously Carrie brought a lot to that. But I'll never forget, and I don't think I'll ever appreciate enough just the significance of that. I mean, it was the 70s, things were happening, but overall, this was pretty new. The fact is, when we have a sequel trilogy of films with a female lead and it's still controversial, it clearly shows that whether it was the 70s, they did it the 50s, whenever, at any point, it was always going to be against the grain and new at the expense of some people's feelings, particularly men. And yet they do it anyway. They push because again, that narrative, that theme of Star Wars of it is a story, it is a groundbreaking film, but it's also inspiration, it's also meaning, it's also commentary. And so all of those things that suddenly become real and should in the biggest way possible impact us. Like, great, you like cool sabers and cool sounds and flying stuff, but the things that really should stick with us are those kinds of things where it says like, hey, anybody can be the hero, and yes, that means girls too, like stuff like that, where it's just like I appreciate you enjoying the stuff, the cool, but like don't use the substance to or don't use the style to forget the substance, if that makes sense.
Big time. And the fact that they gave her a blaster.
Yeah, but and like you said too, is like she looks the part of the princess, but definitely
she's not harmless.
And not the damsel in distress.
Yeah.
I enjoy that.
Like, and her right after getting rescued, that whole sequence of her just bullying them.
And just taking charge, just like,
someone get this walking carpet out of my way.
How did y'all even get here? It's that attitude. It's really that. I know a lot of hurt boys and people that fill my cup with tears are like, oh, like she's such a great role model and everything. Like, listen, she has a reason to doubt their capabilities. Okay, like. They are bumbling idiots.
Everything's fine. How are you?
We love them, but they're idiots, and they wouldn't have gotten better without her.
Absolutely.
So, I love Leia. like I said,
Yeah.
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was more attracted to scruffians, scoundrels, pilots.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up on war films and westerns, so the guy with the blaster that could fly or drive really cool was my
Mm-hmm.
thing. And so the thing that I came into with Star Wars and the thing that got me as a child out of my seats and excited
Yeah.
was less the lightsaber, the samurai-esque style fighting and all this other stuff, less the fun music and everything. It was
Mm-hmm.
definitely
He was the scruffy boy.
yeah. Well, it was that. It was just like I wanted to be Han Solo. I didn't want to be Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker sucked. To me as a child, I'm just like,
He's
get
so
out of here.
whiny.
Yeah, like okay, he's got a laser sword, big deal. But Han Solo,
Yes.
I was also as I grew up being a big fan of Harrison Ford. My mom loved him, so I grew up on those films.
I
Um,
loved Harrison Ford.
yeah, like I mean, it's one of those things where it's like I didn't watch Indiana Jones because they were good movies.
You watched it because of
I watched
Harrison
it,
Ford.
yeah, and I do enjoy those movies,
Mhm.
but it's one of those things where it's just like as a kid, my point of reference. I mean, the reason I watched Terminator was because of Arnold. Like I'd attached to these actors that represented
Yeah.
things I liked and wanted to be like, and not necessarily morally or anything like that. Just like I want to be cool. I want to be big, strong, tough, blah blah blah. None of that happened, by the way. But
I
I
think you're big,
wanted
strong,
it,
tough.
and so I'd latch on and like just consume everything. And Harrison Ford was one of those. And it did not start with this. It actually started with the Jack Ryan movies he did, but this was definitely up there with the whole.
There's a bomb on the plane.
That
Is that?
that's maybe Air Force One.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I've never seen a
He
Jack
he
Ryan
does
film.
a lot of the same things in the other ones, but
Yes.
no, I really enjoy that. And he worked across James Earl Jones, and I didn't recognize that until I was probably a teenager and knew more about James Earl Jones. Because obviously I didn't know, other than the voice, who the heck that was.
Dude, I I didn't know Carrie Fisher from Star Wars. I knew her from Blues Brothers.
Right? I've never still seen that
I
movie,
love that
so
movie so much.
I know it only in reference and from, how much his brother talks about it, the Belushi brother.
I'm on a mission from God.
Yeah. Um,
That's why I
so
like Chicago
anyway,
so much.
yeah, I loved that, and to
Hmm.
this day, that's still a very significant thing for me. Is the flight scenes, the dog fighting,
Hmm.
every moment they can make ships cool and combat cool in space and everything, is something I still really, really, really enjoy.
I mean, like
Um,
ships.
right?
I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
I have moved character wise away from the whole. Like I still love scoundrels. They're still very lovable
Hmm.
and whatnot, but I
Nah,
have found myself and my meaning in other characters,
hobos.
though. Monks and yeah, nephew murdering people apparently. I don't know.
It
Um,
happens, man.
but yeah, I still to this day, I know that technically, and I mean that not in the verbal sense. I mean that in um, the technicals of film production and visual effects got better with other films,
Yes.
obviously.
Obviously.
But um, although, like, I would rank like Return of the Jedi, Battle of Scarif, and the Battle of Takodana higher.
Hmm.
I still have the same level of hype for the trench run and all of the final dogfight
Insane.
scenes, just because like no, it doesn't look as good, but it's just one of those things where it's just like it's so well done
Hmm.
that those are two different statements, but like it's just like yeah, I still really really enjoy all of that, even knowing what's gonna happen in the end. I know they get the Death Star, except that one time. Um, I like that all still happens every
Yeah.
time. I don't know why I'm surprised, but I still get into it. I still love it.
Oh, absolutely. And something I wanted to mention before we move too far away from Han Solo is he has another one of the best introductions in all of
Yeah,
film.
I
Like that that simple line of "I'll bet you
right.
have."
Yeah,
Like it's just
I
such a setup for his
I yeah I
character.
kind of went full pilot and all that. I didn't even talk, but yeah, Western. Like
Very Western.
he invokes both sides of those, where it's just like, yeah, I mean, the point where like, that top button's undone and everything, just very cowboyish and everything.
Yes.
I love that, and I mean, obviously that's continued to carry over. I mean, those were very strong themes then. It still is now. We have the Mandalorian.
Yes.
All of that. It still evokes this weird cross section of mediums that shouldn't work. Space cowboys like that. I thought that was a bad movie. That one time. It's actually not a bad movie, by the way.
Cowboys and Aliens.
Oh, that's what it's called, not
That's
Space Cowboys.
such a
Sorry.
good movie.
But yeah, it is a really good movie, right?
Yes.
It's right up there with John Carter, and you people didn't go see it, and now we're not getting any more, and I am
Dang.
upset.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay,
It's
dang.
on that list of movies where if more people had supported it, we would have gotten more, and y'all are appreciating it now, and you don't deserve it because you didn't
Yeah.
appreciate it then.
You want to
Yes,
talk...
I went full Bane on you people.
You want to talk about... I don't want to talk about this anymore. You want to talk about nostalgia. It reminded me why I love that introduction so much.
Mm-hmm.
Another movie that me and my dad, yes, used to watch all the time was Tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
And Han Solo has such a Doc Holliday way about him
Yeah.
at some points. And Val Kilmer's Doc Holliday.
Mm-hmm.
The mustache alone. That's a nice mustache.
It's fine.
I just
Val
love the
Kilmer was
character.
nice once.
Dude, you and your Val Kilmer hate. He was in Willow.
Uh-huh.
He was great.
Yeah.
Why don't you like Val Kilmer?
I don't know. I really can't explain it. It's just, he's on that list of people where I'm just like, meh, nah. I don't know. But
Is it
the
because
character,
I complimented his mustache?
No,
Okay.
not the characters he plays though. Like I can separate that. Like I appreciate his Batman, not my favorite, but
Great Batman.
he fills the role. Like it's one of, I just mean like it happens.
The suit fits.
Yeah, I'll watch the movie, but it's like, it is what it is. There's not nearly enough Batnip in this one, but it's fine.
Not nearly. If I had no microphones on the table, I would slam my fist on it. More Batnip, please.
But in favor of the special editions, because I do enjoy those, they have 100% more Boba Fett
Yes,
in
they
their
do.
in their version of A New Hope, and I love it.
Yes, they do.
I also like the addition and the connection it creates, where they bring back Jabba the Hutt, all of that stuff, where it's just like, I appreciate, in this time capsule of a moment where, yeah, no, not all Star Wars is guaranteed, and it's like, if we want to make this world bigger, we're not going to make more movies. We're just going to add to the movies that exist.
Yeah.
I liked the logic behind it of, well, let's make these moments connect. Let's make it feel like this story's always been going on. This rivalry with Han Solo, this debt to Jabba the Hutt, like that's always been there.
Jabba, you're a wonderful human being.
And some of the best dialogue, too.
Some of the best dialogue.
I love that. And it works so much better, considering, the history of the deleted scene, that it was originally a human, obviously changed to a slug at some point. Crime will do that to you.
Don't do crime, kids.
It's just one of those things where it's like, it works so much better now. Because it's a genuine insult.
It is such a genuine insult. If you had to be in a elevator with either Jabba the Hutt or Pizza the Hut, which would you choose?
Oh, Jabba the Hutt. He's cleaner. He's
Yeah.
not nearly as slimy and
Pizza
messy.
the Hut is disgusting.
Yeah, it's nasty.
I hate thinking about Pizza the Hut.
I
so
hate
gross.
thinking about the fact that Bill Pullman went from that to Independence Day, and it's just like, how? Oh my gosh, you want to talk about a glow up?
We will not go quietly into the night.
Right?
That is one of the best speeches.
It's great. It's
in
up
film.
there. It's really up there. It's crazy when your fictional presidents are better than your real ones, but
Alright, you alien buttholes. I'm back!
Right?
He's a wanted criminal. Did you know that? He's
the
hiding
man?
out.
The actor?
Yeah, Randy Quaid.
What?
Yeah, he's hiding out in Canada.
It's not very well if we know he's there.
Well, like, it's
a big place, I know.
It's a huge place.
Yeah.
But, like, I have so many fun
Whoa.
facts about Randy Quaid. I don't want to divulge.
No, that's fine. Yeah, we'll start the Randy Quaid podcast if you want us to.
I don't
talk
want
about
to.
that.
I don't want to. Like, Dennis Quaid got all of the genes.
Wait, that's his dad?
That's his brother.
That's his brother?
That's his brother.
Oh my gosh. My mind is getting blown all over the place.
Oh my
What?
darling, we will talk about this later.
Whoa.
Don't make me tell you about Randy Quaid's sex tape.
Oh.
It's
Okay,
bad.
well, that's why he's in Canada.
That's not the only reason.
Not because Canada's bad or anything, but there's just more
Canada's
maple
great,
syrup,
eh? Like,
you know.
you hit a tree right, a freaking tap will come out. I don't know, man. I've never been to Canada.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
it's fine.
Danny, and all of our other Canadian listeners.
Right, sorry, David K.
Sorry, David. He's American now. He doesn't care.
Right, yeah, no, once you become American, you just instantly hate Canada and other countries, you know.
Sorry,
And
Scott McNeil.
no one's as good as us. That's all satirical. Don't come for me. Oh my gosh.
This is propaganda.
I love the samurai inspirations.
Thank you for moving on. Yes, I think you see where George Lucas really got his inspiration from Akira Kurosawa.
Well, and as a caveat to that, from everywhere, like I mean, we've talked about so much westerns, dogfighting. I mean, literally basing the dogfights off of film footage of other old films and actual planes. Yeah, obviously sci-fi. Like it's this chemistry that shouldn't happen. Like it's so weird how it works together and creates this galaxy we love. But yeah. Throw in some period piece Japanese stuff. Yeah, why not? You know?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's just to get Uncle Kurosawa to show up and give his blessing, which he does, and it's adorable. But yeah, I love all of that. And I mean, who knows what the heck we would have gotten. An Akira regular actor was supposed to be Obi-Wan, and to think what could have happened with that, and who would have played in place of Ewan McGregor, and the things that would have changed. Who knows? So maybe that needs to be the What If series we do next.
What is Raiden's actor named?
Raiden?
Yeah, from the new Mortal Kombat.
Oh, I don't remember off the top of my head.
He's so cool.
Any of those folks could have done anything, and I'll love them.
Dude.
Right?
It's gotten worse. I've started loving Mortal Kombat even more now that I've seen more people hating it.
Well, yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah.
It lets you know you're doing something right.
I'm gonna come to your home, and I'm gonna make you watch this movie again.
So, nonetheless, Alec Guinness is amazing.
Oh, he is straight out of Shakespeare.
And I think we kind of sideways talked about this with our prequel conversations, where you can kind of see where they're coming from. Like the same way with like, oh, we love Padme because she's so Leia. And obviously, like they had the benefit to base one off of the other, blah, blah, blah. You know, Ewan is so Obi-Wan, yeah, because Alec Guinness was Obi-Wan first, and the things that carry over and whatnot. But, like, it's so crazy how well it works. And you know, again, Alec Guinness is one of those folks, I don't know how much you could direct, like how much you can tell him what to do, and how much you're just like, here's the gist, do something.
Do it.
Yeah. Yes. Have fun.
And also, I need to finish the joke that came into my mind or else it won't shut up.
Okay.
Straight out of Shakespeare, crazy mother effer named Hamlet.
Okay.
Sorry. That's it.
Sure, that's on the podcast now.
You're welcome.
I don't know what that is, but okay.
It's straight out of Compton.
Okay.
Jeez.
And so, but yeah, I love Alec Guinness. I love the Obi-Wan scenes in this. And this is the one movie where I can get loving Obi-Wan from the original trilogy standpoint. After this, he's there, he's cool, it's fine.
He's just hanging.
Yeah, but this, I mean, it's all in Alec Guinness's work, I think, but like it's just so enjoyable to watch, and he puts so much emphasis into moments that mean nothing at the time, and then we've, you know, retroactively been like, oh, that's PTSD. That's a moment, you know, and it's just like it's nothing. He just made a choice, and now it means something to us.
It's stunning, the work that he did to set up. Like, he didn't do it intentionally, obviously, because he had no idea that was going to happen. But
he wanted to do a good job.
Yeah.
But he didn't necessarily really get into all this stuff. Like, it wasn't like, oh, this is laser swords and all this, that's cool. Like, no, his whole thing was just like playing the character. His whole business was just, I'm going to show up and do a good job at this weird samurai man, and there we go.
It's like when Christopher Lee was in The Howling too. He just sort of shut up.
Right, yeah, it's one of those things, you just let him do.
There's nothing wrong with
The Howling. Just let him do. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed that, and obviously he's probably the weightiest actor other than Peter Cushing to come into this.
David Prowse.
Um, well,
Well, yeah, I
not in
mean,
certain circles. Like I mean,
yeah,
like known, like their name is on the front of films and everything. Like he was big for one character, and I don't remember what it is, but like in the UK and everything.
dude, he
Um,
was big for so much more than that. He was
well,
Errol
to
Flynn
certain
to
circles.
certain
I'm,
circles.
that- I'm
He
I'm not
was,
stepping on toes. I'm just
I
saying,
know,
like you say, Peter Cushing, most people know.
yeah,
Yeah, David Prowse.
Tales from the
Oh,
Crypt,
Darth Vader. Most
yeah,
people like that's the reference for most people nowadays.
yeah. But David Prowse was not only just a fantastic actor in
Hmm.
general, he was a master swordsman. Like, he was the fencing instructor for a lot of actors. Like, he was a huge name in theatrical fencing.
Hmm.
Watching Errol Flynn, those old movies, stunning, stunning work.
Hmm.
And I think it's just because I'm a dang old theater nerd
Yeah, well,
sometimes.
that's what I mean. Is it's just like I'm not, and that's
Lord of the Rings.
yeah,
He did the fight choreography for Lord of the Rings
he
for
did.
the elves and for the Night King. Like, it's so cool.
It is. It is
Sorry.
very cool. No, I appreciate you. This is about loving things, and
Yeah.
you're loving that. I like everyone's always going to be offended by something, and it like when I say one like oh Liam Neeson's the biggest actor to come into there,
Yeah.
except for Terrence Stamp, I believe is his name that played Valorum. It's just like yeah, well, what about so and I did
I know.
I meant in the context of who most people are going to talk about, and so I'm not saying David Prowse is not a big name,
I
and not
know.
worth love. If anything, he doesn't get enough credit. It is kind of sad getting into the history of things with how that all went down and everything. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we get Darth Vader, and he sounds like what he sounds like, and he looks like what he looks like, but it was kind of a weird conundrum. It's where real life kind of affected the art a little bit and everything, but it is what it is. But yeah, if anything, he's not appreciated enough for what he did for the character and
Yep.
everything. Although, I mean, you can't beat the voice of James Earl
You
Jones.
are absolutely
It's
correct.
really hard to find. Like, I think it really set the bar of how you know it's only halfway what they look like. It's what they sound like too. They've
Hmm.
got to be menacing in what they say, how they say it, all that stuff. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, it all worked together. He was physically and verbally imposing for the little bit you get of him. I never really thought much of who he worked for or anything. I just
Hmm.
liked seeing him on screen because he looked cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
You
I love Darth Vader.
can guarantee like half of Mufasa's lines wouldn't have hit as hard
Oh yeah,
if he was voiced by anybody else.
if it was just somebody, you know.
Remember
I
who
mean,
you are.
there's just people that have that gravitas to them, and I mean, he comes from stage two. Obviously, it was used many a time and for much of his career. I mean,
Hmm.
when you got something, you got something.
Yeah. Um, can you imagine that scene on Octo where Luke is using the Force to project himself? If just Darth Vader's face came through the clouds and was just like, "Remember."
Right.
That would have been
Um,
funny.
yeah, I love Darth Vader.
Oh yeah, not just character wise, but design wise.
Yeah, yeah.
Great design.
Which we're recording this on Ralph McCory's birthday.
Happy birthday.
Or is it his birthday or the day he passed? I, you know,
Opposite ends of the
there's,
spectrum. It's
yeah,
somewhere in there.
I feel bad now.
Whoops.
It's a significant day in McCory history when we're recording this. And in general, Star Wars would not look like what it looks like without
No,
his hand on things.
we
Um,
wouldn't have characters if it
right.
weren't for Ralph
Yeah,
McCoy's
like I
designs.
mean, so many people come into making things happen. I mean, we could thank everyone in the orchestra if we wanted to. It's just easier to say John Williams. We could thank everyone that made models and did all the concept art and everything. But it's just easier with,
It's easier
you
to
know,
say Grant
I,
Imahara.
oh, makes me sad.
I know.
Um,
Me too.
yeah, it's really crazy, and I mean, with these kinds of movies, like thinking of all the folks that had a hand in this and won't see where this legacy continues to go is is one thing. Thinking of the people that have grown up, um, been inspired and done things, and
Yeah.
even them themselves, the late Grant Imahara. It's like,
And Adam Savage.
it's like,
Yeah.
well, he's not dead yet.
He's not dead
Hang
yet.
on, I'm talking about dead
I
people.
know.
But yes,
Yes,
all
him
the
too.
people that have grown to be inspired by these things and done amazing things. Yeah, it's crazy to think about like just how interconnected and how influential it is. Um, but to circle it back, I think it only happens because we love it. It only that
Absolutely.
all of that good fruit only happens when you love stuff, and when that spreads, and love is infectious, and even if you don't get people to love it with you, they'll at least have a respect and value, I think,
They should.
if you're genuine. I mean, yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, they should. I think it's one of those things where it's like if you genuinely love things, I mean, not 100% because we love things all the time and get in trouble for it, I guess. But more often than not, you'll find more people that either agree with you or respect you
Hmm.
than hate you for it.
Yeah.
Um, and if you spend more time loving the things you love, you don't really have time to care about the people that don't uh, care as much or don't respect your opinions as much. You kind of just continue to do your thing because that's what brings you joy, not the validation of other people
No.
and everything. You don't need people to get it or to say yes to your love for you to love stuff. That's the beauty of loving stuff. It's all you.
Yeah.
It's your approach, your point of view, if you will, and all of that good stuff. So um, that's why we do what we do, and that's why we did this episode.
Yeah.
And there's more to come.
And it attracts people to you as
Yeah,
well.
absolutely.
Like I cannot count how many friends we've made just by being so aggressively love with
Yep.
how we approach things.
Absolutely. And that's the thing is you find your flock. You're always concerned with how many people you'll lose when you do your thing, but you always do find your people and you find your circle
Yeah.
when you do that though.
Yeah.
And so it's far better to lose folks for the right reasons and for loving what you love than it is to keep folks you have for not being true to yourself, if that makes sense.
I get you.
And speaking of people we love our patrons, first of all. If you want
You
to,
want to be loved by us?
yeah, if you want to love us and us love you,
Get money.
join our Patreon. I mean, it's the same thing. Instead of nudes, you just get us being us.
Fully clothed.
I actually don't know if that's worth the money now, but if you still are
I pay
interested,
for it.
check out our Patreon and the links below. We appreciate our patrons. We always pose questions and always get their input for things before we do things. Not permission necessarily, but we always are
No.
like, "Hey, we're doing a thing," and give them
Surprise.
a prioritized voice in that. So if you want more voice, if you have ideas, if you want to speak up to the herd, not that we won't hear you if you don't pay, but it definitely helps to get you forefront in our attentiveness. And speaking of our friend Nick, aka the Backyard TARDIS, on Twitter, said that I just kind of put out there, what do you like? And he was the first and quickest to respond, and so benefits to being on Patreon. He loved the moment with Princess Leia meeting Tarkin and just her absolute bossness and
Absolutely.
insulting him. The guy that could just kill you right now, but you know what? What a way to go.
What's up, Stinky?
And such a great line. I should have known you were pulling Vader's leash, like all that. So great, so iconic, and it really set the bar for who Leia was and who strong females in Star Wars would continue to be.
Absolutely.
Also loves the Star Wars trench run, so we are right there
You
with
guys are
you on
trench
that.
buddies.
And favorite characters are R2 and Han Solo. So there you go.
Nice.
I'm not alone in not being a Jedi boy.
We didn't even mention
R2D2 and the
R2D2
droids. Yeah,
and
I told you we
like
were going to leave stuff off. So if you want, fill in the gaps. Say things we did not say. Tell us
yes.
what you love. And we will appreciate you for it. Whether that be in the YouTube comments below, or if you're listening to this, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook and let us know there
Yes.
where the episode is posted. We welcome it. That's why we do what we do, is not just so we can spend forever talking about what we love, but invite people to join us in those conversations. So feel free to join us and do so, whatever your chosen social media platform happens to be. Other people you find and love when you are yourself are folks like Jesse, our friend Jesse over at Game Infinite. He loves games, and we do too. Maybe not always the same games,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I still haven't played Mass Effect. I'm sorry, I
It's
don't.
such a
You
good
know,
game,
Elder
though.
Scrolls, never heard of her. But
You
if
most
you
certainly heard of
have
her.
and you enjoy it, you can check out Game Infinite on Instagram and Twitter. They do articles, news. They do opinion pieces, and they also, most importantly, at least to me, I love the part where we share creators and artists and everything. Yes, we support Jesse and what he does and help him out, especially when it comes to Star Wars stuff and everything. But just know that if you go check out Game Infinite, you're supporting Jesse and the great work he does and all of his friends and fans and supporters as well. So check that out. Gaming things are happening. E3 happened. I didn't pay attention, but you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to check out Game Infinite for their coverage of it. So you can do the same.
Nintendo, save us, please.
Also, Red 5 Network. You can check them out on Instagram. Not Instagram. Maybe on Instagram. I don't know. But definitely Twitter. They're all social media giants. I don't know the difference.
Social media.
What is a fleet in a story? What's the difference? There's nothing. Everybody's just doing the same thing, just different colors, okay? Um, Red 5 Network, podcasts that do much better than us at things and are full of great people. You'll find a lot of good folks there. And so, in between us in your ears, if you want to change it up and get some other people in your ears, first of all, those are some big ears. But you can do that
That's our OnlyFans.
with Red 5 Network. Yeah, that's our big ears on OnlyFans. Just at me. But yeah, they do Star Wars and all kinds of other things as well, just like we do. And so, and speaking of other things, we will be coming back. Obviously, we're doing the original trilogy. So, yes, next is Empire Strikes Back. But before that, we are taking a caveat and a side road to another property we love.
Yes.
We're continuing our horror trend and talking about the Conjuring series.
Yes.
It's a series we really, really, really enjoy, and we cannot wait to talk about. It just got a new entry, so there you go. We're excited about that.
Which we adored.
Yeah, it's really great. So if you want to hear our thoughts on all of it, and if you're also just wondering what the heck it is, maybe we'll explain it, maybe we won't, but we will talk about things.
La Llorona.
And we invite you to check it out as we talk about The Conjuring and Mila Mana, Mila Djokovic.
No.